compassionate, loving, and exemplary man of God. The Kid from Karuhatan. Kuya Clem Menteng Guillermo was born on November 23, 1950 in Valenzuela, which was then a municipality of the province of Bulacan. His parents, Feliciano and Cirila, also had 3 daughters, Margarita, Rodorica, and Benita. At an early age, Clem was exposed to the gospel. He actively attended the Sambahan sa Nayon church in Karuhatan. The seeds of God's word planted deep inside his heart at a tender phase would eventually yield an abundant harvest later in his life. Days of Defiance. Clem went to primary school at the Mababang Paaralan ng Karuhatan, where he finished with honors. Teenage life was a period of personal upheavals, which was aggravated by defiant peers who pressured him into smoking and drinking. As a result, secondary school was a confusing and stressful incident for him. But the Lord took hold of the rebellious youth from Karuhatan. Through the prayers and concern of people who love him, Clem realized how he was ruining his life. He immediately began the difficult process of turning things around for the better. He even started to work as a construction worker in the Far East Broadcasting Company Philippines compound to support his education and to demonstrate his willingness to make amends. Sidetracked by an unruly adolescent life, it took Clem 7 years to finish high school. From pupil to pastor. Regaining his purpose in life, Clem took up civil engineering at the University of the East. He soon pursued his calling for full-time ministry by studying at the Phoebus College of Bible. A scholarship grant helped augment the small financial support he received as a student pastor serving in his church. When his father passed away, the additional responsibility of being the lone family breadwinner landed squarely on his shoulders. But despite the difficulties, Clem persevered. He graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Theology and was awarded as an outstanding student. God honored his prayer and personal wish in giving back to his beloved college the same mentoring and care he received when he was a student, when he was hired as the Assistant Dean of Men and faculty members of Phoebus College of Bible. As the official in charge of student and faculty personnel services, Clem shared his keen interest for sports with his students. Besides getting delight from playing lawn tennis, table tennis, and bowling, he also became a basketball coach for the school. They called their group the Music and Drama Basketball Group, or MAD for short. Along with his responsibilities at Phoebus, Clem continued to diligently serve as assistant pastor of Sambahan sa Nayon. Through the years, he would also be the pastor of several churches like Balut Christian Church in Tondo, Kapitbahayan Christian Church, Faith Bible Church, and Proclaim His Name Christian Fellowship, which he established through the support of former church members. Charity begins at home and abroad. His love for his wife and children are admirable and generous. Married to his one and only partner for life, Merlin Labawan, Clem has found both fulfillment and intimacy in their relationship as a couple and as partners in the ministry. These days, after his quiet time every morning, he makes it a point to jog with Merlin as part of his time to stay fit and bond with her. Blessed with 2 children, Kathy, Leia, and Kenneth, and a granddaughter, Katrine Alexi, he makes it a point to find time to show and communicate his concern for them amidst the busyness of each day. It is this same concern for his household that has fueled his mission to find new ways to help Filipino families through his God-given abilities. His master's degree on marriage and family counseling at the Center for Family Ministries, or CFAM, Loyola House Studies at the Ateneo de Manila University brought him new knowledge, insights, and contacts that would ultimately benefit the people he serves. In 1989, he put up his own counseling clinic known as the Isaiah 5812 Ministries at the 4th floor of the Back to the Bible building. The counseling clinic was aimed to provide preventive and restorative counseling to couples and families. Beyond Isaiah 58 verse 12 Ministries, Clem has set up and maintained different support groups to meet their own specific needs. These groups consist of the pastor's group, the couple's support group, the single parents group, and a support team for the PCF Church. He is frequently invited to facilitate seminars and lectures on marriage and relationships abroad. He regularly travels and speaks to overseas Filipino workers and churches in the Middle East, several countries in Asia, Europe, and the United States. They call him Kuya. In 1997, Back to the Bible Philippines presiding elder Reverend Mike Lacanilao and the ministry's Board of Elders appointed Clem as the organization's new managing director. Part of his work requires him to broadcast through Tanglaw sa Landas ng Buhay in the program's Pagbubulay segment. He is also a regular broadcaster over Heartline, the longest-running radio counseling program on radio. This ministry partnership between Back to the Bible and FEBC that serves Filipinos all over the world through on-air counseling is also shared by longtime buddies Pastors Willie Basilio and Gami Alba. Together with program hosts Merlin Guillermo and Carmen Go Vargas, Heartline has been actively improving and mending marriages and families for more than 2 decades. Besides Heartline, Clem also has a recurring role as guest counselor over Family Matters, aired over 702 DZAS and hosted by Heidi Sampang. A passion for families. If there's one thing that Clem is passionate about, it is building and restoring relationships between husbands and wives, between children and their parents, between church leaders and members, and most importantly, building and restoring relationships between a lost soul and a caring God. Driven with this purpose, he has made himself available as World Teach Philippines chairman of the board and as one of its most effective and influential lecturer. He is also on hand as a facilitator for the various conventions spearheaded by the Philippine Council of Evangelical Churches, which include Promise Keepers conferences and Bless the Couple seminars and workshops. His distinctive flair of clarifying an issue through a tasteful fusion of biblical insight, disarming humor, and street smart savvy has captured the attention of several radio and television talk shows like Mel and Joey, Moms, Sis, Full-Time Moms, Magandang Umaga Pilipinas, and a number of other television programs. Even though he speaks regularly before thousands in conferences and millions through the radio and television, Clem remains at ease in speaking at small churches, care groups, or cell groups. He believes in giving the same significance to both intimate engagements and Coliseum-wide symposia. For both small and large audiences, Clem's punctuality in arriving and finishing his talks is an archetype for aspiring ministers and motivational speakers. A fellow patient of the great counselor. Despite his expertise and large following, Clem is the first one to point out that he is far from being the ideal husband, father, or pastor. Like all of us, he is still growing in his faith and maturing in his walk with the Lord. During his seminars, he echoes the words of Irish-born British novelist, academic, lay theologian, and Christian apologist C.S. Lewis. Think of me as a fellow patient in the same hospital who, having been admitted a little earlier, gives some advice. Clem has never presented himself as someone who has become perfect, nor as someone who can fix or reform himself and others by following a step-by-step program. He considers himself as a fellow sinner whose only advantage is that he knows the hospital's gracious doctor, Jesus Christ. In his seminars and talks over the radio and television, Clem points away from himself to the Lord, the great physician and wonderful counselor, who is the only cure for our relational, emotional, and spiritual problems. Through many difficulties and victories in his life, Clem has held on to the Lord's promise that no matter what happens, the Lord will not let a good man down. Clem's life and the legacy that now influences thousands of people is a living testimony that no matter who we are or where we come from, the Lord will use us only if we let Him transform us into compassionate, loving, and exemplary man of God.